write a formal proof of each theorem or corollary. Number 27. The opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. Where do we begin with putting together this proof? Start with a drawing of a parallelogram. You may give the vertices any names that you wish. Then, devise a plan. Remember that the diagonal of a parallelogram separates it into two congruent triangles. Theorem 4.1.1. That would be very useful here. If we can prove the triangles are congruent, then we can use CPCTC, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, to say that corresponding parts, angles in this case, are congruent. The next thing we have to do is write the given and proof statements based on the drawing that we made and the statement to be proved. Given, parallelogram RSVT. Prove, angle RST is congruent to angle RVT and angle VRS is congruent to angle VTS. We need to make sure that we state that the opposite angles are congruent to each other, and we must state that both pairs of opposite angles are congruent in our proof statement. Next, we set up our formal proof table. We start off with the word proof, and next we have our statement columns on the left and our reason column on the right. A proof typically begins with one of your given statements. In our case, we only have one given statement. Statement 1, parallelogram RSTV. Reason 1, it was given. Statement number 2, draw in diagonal line segment VS. Reason number 2, through 2 points there's exactly one line. Statement number 3, triangle VRS is congruent to triangle STV. Reason number 3, a diagonal of a parallelogram separates it into two congruent triangles. Remember, we're allowed to use any other theorem in this proof, except for the theorem that states that the opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. Since the triangles are congruent, that means each of their corresponding parts are congruent. So statement number 4, angle VRS is congruent to angle STV. Reason number 4, CPCTC, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. We've proven that two of the opposite angles are congruent. Now we must prove that the other two opposite angles are congruent. And we're going to do this by basically repeating the same 3 steps, 2, 3, and 4, just using a different diagonal. So statement number 5, draw in diagonal line segment RT. Reason number 5, same as reason number 2. Statement number 6, triangle RST is congruent to triangle RVT. Reason number 6, same as reason number 3. Statement number 7, angle RST is congruent to angle RVT. Reason number 7, CPCTC, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. We've now completed our proof by proving that each of the opposite angles in this parallelogram are congruent to each other.